I'm going to go back to what Ian Rappaport was saying about Lane Johnson.
Okay.
If you weren't watching a second ago, he was talking about how Lane's got a bad ankle injury, and 99% of the players, he would say, this guy's going to be out. But he has questioned Lane Johnson's toughness before, and Lane Johnson finds a way to go. Is that not symbolic of, like, what the Eagles are? Just tough, gritty. Everyone else can't do it, but we can. You think about the brotherly shove. You think about the way that they've overcome the odds. You
Dog
think about
mask.
the way they play with dog masks. Like
mask.
that. Even Ian Rappaport's injury report screams, Eagles football is what we're about. They're going to be wearing the Kelly greens. They're going to be at home, and you better believe they cannot wait to see this razzle-dazzle, fancy, fun Dolphins Lamborghini offense. Here it goes. We've got the tough, mean, nasty, spit on the ground, and then let's go just put on our chin straps and go play, versus razzle-dazzle, coach with Prada glasses and a Gucci watch who's been in a lab working on it like a science experiment, how he's going to make it work. This is speed versus power. This is luxury versus blue collar. This is everything you want in different types of makeups with a team. When in the bottom of the line, the truth of the matter, Sirianni runs a really innovative offense. Vic Fangio runs a pretty tough defense.
Never mind all that.
You got a lot of dogs on that Detroit, that Miami defensive line also. It's really fun when you get these matchups of two very different types of teams. And it might be media narratives, but I think we look at the Dolphins as this fun, flashy, exciting, sunny weather, speed. Let's just put a lot of points. And you think of the Eagles as like nasty, work 6 days a week, and on Sunday I just happen to play football and kick some butt. Like, that's what they come across as. Lunch pail versus the Prada bag. Like, I'm here for it. And it's this matchup where it's these two teams with very different narratives. Someone has to come out on top. Like, do you envision the Dolphins walking in Sunday night into that nasty stadium and doing all their tricks and their motion? They're going to try.
Sure.
Are the Eagles be able to stop them? And then on the other end, do the Dolphins listen to how tough and how strong, and in the trenches no one's better, and just kind of quiver in the back? No, the Dolphins are going to bring it too. Like, I can't wait for this one. I think it might be not only the matchup of the week, it might be the matchup of the season thus far.
Oh, I love that. I love the image you're giving. People in Philly, it's cold outside. You're waiting outside for the bus stop, freezing cold to go to work, and everybody in Miami in a Speedo on the beach on South Beach just having
Peter
a great
has
time.
it as Gucci versus Carhartt, I think.
That's what it is.
There you go.
I like the Carhartt folk.
There you go, the whole nine. You're super warm. I look at this game, and I look at the two quarterbacks and how they're always going to be tethered together, and somehow you go back to their college days where Jalen Hurts is and Tua comes in. And Jamie, you were there, SEC, like you got to see that bond and that relationship.
Yeah.
And I heard Nick Saban say, there's never been a time that he had guys at the same position have the relationship and compete, but also love one another the way Tua and Jalen did in college. So I look at that, and then you go to the draft. Obviously, Jalen had to leave and go to Oklahoma. One goes 5, the other one goes 53. And you fast forward to last season. Jalen Hurts is the guy that has the MVP-like season. He gets paid in the offseason. Tua goes through injuries. Now, this season, Jalen Hurts is the one we're like, all right, he's thrown 7 interceptions. We're questioning this Eagles offense. It looks flat, just inconsistent. And here, like you said, Peter, this Miami offense is just unbelievable. We're putting them up. We're talking about them historically. I just can't. I'm fascinated by these two guys to see kind of their journeys and how they've gotten to this point where here we are in week 7 of the season. And you just said this might be one of the best matchups of the entire season this year. These guys were college teammates. I think that's awesome. That's fascinating to say, all right, we can be on campus together as young teenagers and dream about where we're going to take our careers, and to see it come into fruition and to watch these guys be leaders of their team, to both be doubted. We started this show last summer. I remember doing a segment of who had more pressure, Tua Tagovailoa or Jalen Hurts, of whether they were going to be their franchise quarterbacks. And now we're talking about this as a premier matchup with these two guys who sat in the same meeting room for multiple years. So I'm just fascinated to watch them too.
Hell yeah. And Tua's been better this year. He has been a better quarterback, especially recently. I think this is the biggest game of Tua's career, and I think that's incredible. You know, he had some early stuff early on when he was getting pulled out of games and kind of fighting for his mortality, and then a couple of years ago they had a late game against the Titans, but I think this is the biggest one. National television, at Philly, everybody's watching, and I love that for him. But there's a hater's guide to the Dolphins, which says they haven't really played anybody. You know, the one good team they played was the best, and they beat them. I think that's such BS. They're like, look, I'm sorry that the Panthers suck. We put 42 points on them. What do you want us to do? The Denver Broncos are terrible. We scored 70 on them. We're beating the hell out of these teams. We can only pick, well, this week they picked a really, really good team. And the Tua thing is like, if you go there, Philly, and afterwards you're doing the post-game interview, and as Peter puts it, the Ferrari beats the pickup truck, and Tua's standing there, then it's like, oh my God, this is the full arrival. The Dolphins are not just a really good team, they're a sensation. They also usher in the Philly loses 2 games in a row conversations, which are all kinds of fun. I think it's the biggest game of Tua's career, and I think we've all been rooting for Tua just because we like him as a guy and the backstory and everything. I think it'd be fascinating if he wins this game, what it means for Philly, what it means for Miami. I don't care who they've played. They've destroyed the crappy teams. If they win this game going away, like, they are the team. Like, it's them in the AFC and then kind of everybody else. I'm excited for it. I'm also, like, a little nuance of this. I'm very excited for Christian Wilkins versus the tush push.
Oh.
Like, that's deep in the weeds. Like, what is that
Explain
maniac
that to the
gonna
viewer,
do?
because I think
we know the tush push. Christian Wilkins is a defensive tackle who's a very good player, but is about that after the whistle life or in the scrum life. And so if he feels like I need to do something to will my team to stop them or send a message, he's never afraid to do that. He's not your conventional defensive tackle. Like, he's a wild one. So if they come right at him on the first drive of the game, and here it comes, 4th and short, here comes Hurts, I have no idea what he might do. But I think everything's on the table.
Oh,
The pushing of the tush could continue after the whistle if Christian Wilkins
Maybe so.
doesn't
Maybe
win.
there's a tush push back.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It might be a grab of
Or
something
just
else,
a
too.
straight up
That's it.
shove
That's what
job.
we've heard.
Yes, there could be a lot.
Yeah.
Christian, I want something out of you. I'm not saying to break a rule or anything, but like, just be you, baby. Just be you. Don't let them on your watch come right into your gap. You know what I'm saying? Do something.
It is. I just want to circle back to Jason's point. It is remarkable, these 2 quarterbacks and the mental fortitude that we've seen them have in the NFL. The stuff that Tua has gone through, waiting his turn and trying to get paid. The stuff that Jalen went through. But I'm reminded of when they were 19 and 20 years old. Look at those 2. And that man on the right wearing the number 2 jersey was 26 and 2 as a starter wearing that jersey, and he gets benched for the guy on the left. And frankly, the entire season before he got benched, everyone's watching practice at Alabama, watching Tua take the practice team reps, going, yeah, but look at that guy. Yeah, but when are we going to see that guy? And then they had to wait until the second half of the game, and then they had to watch Tua all season long. And so for Saban, who, by the way, has 12 players playing in this game on Sunday night, of all of the players that Nick Saban has coached Alabama, a dozen of them were going to be playing in this.
As much as I respect that, Kirby Smart has 14 guys on defense for the Eagles.
And the one defense, the one huddle.
That's it.
The one huddle,
Incredible.
yeah, the entire defense just is starting. Those 2 are awesome, and like they are forever bonded, and it's so easy to put them against each other, and they just won't let it happen.
No.
But you saw Tua firsthand; his mental fortitude is impressive.
Oh, I love Tua. And he didn't buy into any of those things. And you get to see players and systems and coaches. It goes such a long way. We watched him under Flo, and now we see him in Mike McDaniel, the confidence, his ability. It's just been fun to see.
Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, teammates as well on those teams. They'll be going up against each other.
He's a ridiculous wide receiver. That team, those teams were insane.